The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. I know we're usually talking about kids' cartoons and stuff, but there's going to be naughty language. Anyway, listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. I'm your host JD, and Kyle's here.
It's me.
Yay. And Dustin is also here.
It's me.
Because I'm pretty sure I'd be threatened with some kind of legal action if I didn't let him on this week.
I'd kill you.
Oh. That's kind of a legal action in the sense that it involves a crime, but, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
It's only a crime if you get caught.
That's
It's true. Yeah.
Speaking of crime.
Yeah, this episode's just gonna be full of crime, because we're talking about the Popo. The Freelance Popo.
That's right.
So I've been promising this show to these guys for a while, and it's a topic I know nothing to little about, so I'm mostly just here to keep the show on track. So we're just going to be talking about the Sam & Max franchise today.
Let's talk about the Sam & Max franchise today.
I'm ready to talk about the Sam & Max franchise today.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, get to it!
I mean...
What does the Sam & Max franchise today mean to you?
It means a video game I technically have on Steam that I've never played.
You should.
Which one?
The third one, I think.
Ah, yes. Sam & Max the Third.
I don't know. It says, like, Sam & Max 301 on it. I don't know. I got it in a Humble Bundle once.
Oh, poor naive JD. He doesn't even know how Sam & Max works.
I don't.
Well, that's why we're here. Don't worry.
Yes, tell me of Sam & Max and why I should use this time to convince me of it.
Have you read the old comics, Dustin?
I haven't in a while, but I have read them, and I have the Hit the Road reprint with all of them.
I do too, and I have that sketchbook.
I want that.
I'm sorry.
Give it to me.
Anyways.
Kyle has a lot of things I want.
That's true.
His house is like a museum.
Kyle has a statue of Sam & Max themselves.
I bought that from the first time I went to Comic-Con.
I want it.
It was the year that came out, the big statue, and the DVD came out.
Oh.
I met Steve Purcell. Yeah, I do. I met Steve Purcell, and he was like, "Hey, you want me to sign the DVDs?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm okay," because I was a naive child.
Oh, you fool. You're such a foolish fool.
Well, I could have got that statue signed, too. I'm an idiot.
Damn. Well, he's not dead yet, so, I mean...
No, but now it's impossible to get into Comic-Con. That's all he really does.
Just go to his house. I mean...
I wish. Steve Purcell, if you're listening to this, can I go to your house? We can talk about Toy Story. That short you directed.
Oh, yeah, he did Toy Story That Time Forgot.
Yeah, and I think he worked on Brave, too.
Yeah, he co-directed it after they booted off Brenda Chapman.
Oof.
Yeah, so... I'd like to see them let him direct a movie from beginning to end, though. Like, just his own idea. Let him helm a Pixar movie.
That would be pretty interesting.
I'd be down. So let's start way back in the day, back in the far-off year of 1987, back when Sam & Max was published by Fish Wrap Productions.
That's older than I am.
It's older than all of us.
Hooray.
Yeah. You would assume correctly.
Isn't that weird to say that Sam & Max is older than all of us? Wow, that means last year was the 30th anniversary.
Oh shit.
Well, I will tell you guys a little bit of what the future holds for them, but we'll hold on to that later.
The future.
Anyways, the original comics from 1980s. There's some good shit.
They are.
What kind of good shit, Kyle? Elaborate.
I don't know. Steve Purcell drew them. They're a little wonky.
Well, what's funny is Steve Purcell didn't actually create Sam and Max.
Oh.
This is the first time learning of this.
So the story goes, it was actually his brother that made the comics about a dog and a rabbit detectives. And what Steve would do, being the antagonistic older brother, is he would find his younger brother's unfinished comics and finish them for him, writing in self-deprecating dialogue, just making fun of the comic and how they're drawn, having them mix their names up. So yeah, Steve Purcell didn't actually create the... Well, he created what evolved into the characters, but his brother's the one who planted the seeds.
He does that a lot in the original comics, though. They mix their names up a lot.
Yeah, that's a reference to exactly that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I don't know when exactly, but for his birthday one year, his brother basically gave him the characters since Steve was doing more with them than he was. Mm-hmm. So his brother officially signed over the rights to Sam and Max Freelance Police.
Weird.
Ain't that a fun story?
That's nice. Nice of them.
It's a heartwarming story.
Looking at the wiki, in 1980, Purcell began to produce Sam and Max comic strips for the weekly newsletter of the California College of Arts and Crafts.
That's pretty cool.
That I knew, and then, a few years later, the comics were published by Fish Rat Productions, who also did Fish Police.
I'm unfamiliar with this as well.
Which also was a comic and a cartoon.
Yeah, it's basically exactly like... Oh, it was inked by Sam Keith? I didn't know that. Wow.
Damn.
But that's for another day. That's for the Fish Police episode. Let's get back to Sam and Max.
Yeah.
So, Steve got a job at LucasArts where he made comics with Sam and Max based on their games that were coming out for, their internal newsletter.
See, I still have one of the comics from the adventure, and it was for Dark Forces. And they did a Star Wars Sam and Max. And I still own it.
Yeah, they did a bunch of Star Wars ones. They did some Monkey Island ones. They did mostly Star Wars, but they did other ones I think they did a Full Throttle one.
Weird.
But so not too long after that, Sam and Max got their first point-and-click computer game from LucasArts called Sam and Max Hit the Road.
Back in the good old days of LucasArts.
Well, that was in 1993.
Yeah. So that was after LucasArts had kind of, proven themselves with point-and-click games.
Yeah.
And this is back in the day where DOS was around.
Yeah.
I remember DOS.
They made
you youngins don't remember DOS.
Oh, I remember DOS.
I was talking to the youngins.
Oh yeah. I had the original Monkey Island on DOS.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I never owned the original Monkey Islands, but I played downloaded copies of them. I mean, legally purchased copies of them is what I meant.
We're gonna bust you for something you did 25 years ago.
No, I didn't do that. It's legally bought, is what I said. Obviously.
Yeah. Right.
But Sam and Max Hit the Road was another one I legally purchased back in the day.
I have never actually played it, but I watched like a long playthrough of it.
I like Sam and Max Hit the Road. Its puzzles are maybe a little too obtuse sometimes, but
it is
like
way out there on some of them.
Yeah, but the art style for it is really good. Steve Purcell did a lot of stuff for LucasArts. He did I think he did all of the backgrounds for Monkey Island 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous of his art. That guy's crazy with it.
Yeah.
He has a Monkey Island print for sale, and it looks incredible.
Oh, what is it the one he did for Telltale? The Tales of Monkey Island one? Oh, that's awesome. I got the special edition DVD of Tales of Monkey Island, and it has that as the slip sleeve cover.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But back to Sam and Max. So Hit the Road came out. It was great. People loved it, and people still love it to this day. You can actually buy it on Guild of Games now, I think it's called. I think the website is. Since
right.
Oh, you mean Good Old Games?
Good Old Games, that's what I mean. GOG.
Yeah, GOG.
GOG.com.
Yeah, you can get a lot of old PC stuff off of that.
Well,
yes.
The cool thing about it, these old DOS games were all fucking voice acted, which was kind of weird. They were all almost text adventure games, but they were all voice acted, and I know Bill Farmer was the voice of Sam.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I'm blanking on the guy who did Max's voice, but he did a lot of voices in LucasArts games. Like, he did a bunch in Day of the Tentacle.
I still need to play that game.
Yes, you do. That's probably my favorite point and click. It's very good.
Bill Farmer is the voice of Goofy. If you guys
sure
didn't
is.
Know.
Yes, he is, Kyle. Good job.
It does sound like...
Someone made a post on Twitter the other day that I thought was really funny. Bill Farmer played two anthropomorphic dogs in the mid '90s that went on two different road trips with two different Maxes.
That is...
Yo, yeah. That's weird.
It's amazing.
What are the odds? Yeah, I'm looking at some of the old comic pages again now. I just love his art style. That's the short of it. He just draws so well. I love the way he inks things.
I've had the chance to buy a few of his artworks, but boy, are they expensive.
Yeah.
I think my favorite picture that he's done is where they're in some foreign land and it's drawn without reference.
It's funny, I remember seeing a copy of Sam and Max Hit the Road in store once when I was a kid at like a toy store or something. This was like after the cartoon had aired, so I already knew who Sam and Max were. But they just happened to have a copy at a toy store. I didn't have it. I didn't get it since, parents aren't just going to buy a kid everything they want. But,
it's weird because the original game, would you say that's a kid's game or not?
Kind of in between.
Adult.
I wouldn't say it's an adult. It's maybe T-rated.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
I wonder what it's rated on GOG. It's so weird looking up Sam and Max Hit the Road and seeing company Lucasfilm / Disney.
Yeah.
So Sam and Max Hit the Road.
Oof.
So Disney doesn't own Sam and Max as a series, but they do own this original game since it was owned by LucasArts.
Mm-hmm. That's weird.
It's weird. It's a weird little thing they got going on.
I do like it that he still owns the rights to the characters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't anymore.
He got very lucky. I'd like to think that if Urchin ever went anywhere, I could negotiate a way that I could keep the rights afterwards.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But it might be different these days. It's probably this whole other thing, this whole crazy thing.
Yeah.
But I really like the backgrounds in Sam and Max Hit the Road. I was looking through them the other day and thinking, I just like how warped they look, the colors for them.
I mean, just pixel-wise, everything looks great. That whole cutscene with them in it at the beginning, it looks really fun.
Yeah, the beginning's great. Or says, should we get down there and kick some puffy white mad scientist butt? And then Sam says, can't think of a reason not to. That's the weird thing about Sam and Max. I'm really surprised I liked it as a child because the dialogue is so heady and wordy. I can't imagine I got all of it.
I mean, that's kind of how a lot of stuff, I feel like a lot of stuff in the 90s is like, you go back and watch it as an adult, you catch so much that you missed as a kid because it was so wordy.
Yeah, like, you're like, wow, this is way smarter than I remembered it being. I can't believe I got into this as a child. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I'd like to play it again sometime. For everyone out there listening to this, it's only $6 on GOG.
There you go. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, get on it, you losers. You bunch of squares.
Oh my.
What are you waiting for your mommy to come give you permission?
Whoa.
I mean, I am.
Sorry, I got a little heated there. Oh.
Speaking of 1997...
Which we were.
Yeah, the cartoon was released on Fox Kids in 1997, and from my understanding, it had 0 to no help from Purcell.
You would be wrong.
I heard he had, like, very few, but I do know that they tried to make Max a girl, and he was like, nope.
Nope, that's not happening. I mean...
Did you hear that, too?
Yeah, I think I remember hearing that. I think they settled on making the geek. Yeah, the geek.
That's right.
A girl instead. But if you look at the credits, it has Steve Purcell listed as, like, the sole writer on multiple episodes.
Oh, shit. I always heard he had, like, almost nothing to do with it, and I heard it was, like, a Canada-based thing or something.
Yeah, it was made by Nelvana, or Nelvana, however you pronounce it.
Oh, that's right.
But that was back when Nelvana actually made some pretty good stuff.
I remember reading that all the backgrounds were like hand inked or something.
Yeah,
like
the
that.
backgrounds in the show look amazing. Like, I think of all the show is still funny. The show holds up altogether, but the backgrounds in particular, I think, just like blow away anything else.
Yeah. They said it ruined production time or something like that.
Yeah, maybe it's no wonder it only got one season.
My favorite thing about the show is they did an animated version of Sam and Max on the Moon.
Yeah, that one was... that's one episode that has Steve Purcell credited as the sole writer. Which I guess makes sense, since it's just... it's basically just the comic.
It is literally word for word the comic. It's like watching it. You could read along with the comic. I love it.
One of my favorite... So, for those that don't know, by which I mean JD...
yeah.
One of the episodes of the show is called Bad Day on the Moon, where Sam and Max go to the moon to help a bunch of rat people handle their roach problem, is what the wiki says. But so basically the moon is inhabited by rat people, and there are these giant roaches that eat the rats. So Sam and Max are there to get rid of these roaches. And, you know, it's this whole big adventure. I won't spoil where it goes. But it's very good. It's probably one of the more solid written episodes. I mean, every episode is very funny, very well written. But this one in particular is one that feels very Sam and Max, and for a good reason. What's one I was thinking of? One of my favorite ones, they have like 3 little mini Sam and Max episodes that are just like 1 or 2 minute segments in between. One is called Sam and Max's Artsy Craftsy Bit of Time Wasting Nonsense.
Oh yeah, I think that's another thing ripped from the comic.
Yeah, that's another one that's just straight up from the comic that they turned into an episode of the cartoon where Sam and Max teach the kids how to make paper bag Max head puppets. And you can use it to communicate with foreign tribes because Max's head is a universal symbol of something or other. and it has my favorite line in the whole series. When at the end of the... Well, first of all, before I... No, I'll just say the part. At the end of the skit, Sam says in the happiest voice, "Well, this has grown tiresome." And then they drive off. And that's one of my favorite things about the show is I feel like the voice actors in the cartoon were the absolute best the characters have ever been. Yeah. And I think that mostly because like they're written, the characters are written the same way throughout the whole series, but I feel like the juxtaposition of those really high energy voices with the dialogue just makes it all the funnier. So
this is one of my favorite versions of him.
Yeah. So Sam was voiced by Harvey Atkin. He voiced King Koopa in the Super Mario cartoon.
That's wild.
Yeah. He did a lot of Canadian cartoons. He was in Ruby Gloom. He was in 16 apparently. And he was Sam and Max.
Who was Max?
Max was Robert Tinkler, who was also in a bunch of Canadian cartoons.
He was in Pelswick as Pelswick.
He was Pelswick.
Oh my god.
I could be wrong about this, but I think it's not listed on the wiki, but I think he was in Undergrads too.
I like that show.
Yeah, I think Gimpy is his name, right? He didn't voice Gimpy, but I think he voiced his sidekick. I could be wrong about that, but it sounded just like him.
I want to say my favorite episode of this show would be Lorne, the friend for life.
It's Lorne, the friend for life. So in this episode, Sam and Max meet their biggest fan, Lorne, who
friend for life.
Yeah, he's obsessed with Sam and Max. He goes everywhere they go. He's super clingy to them, to their detriment, like getting in the way of their missions and stuff. And every time he shows up, he has a theme where it sings,
it's a little jingle.
"It's Lorne, the friend for life," and it even plays it over the phone.
Funny.
Like, he calls Max on the phone, he says, hey, you guys, it's Lorne! And then it plays, "The friend for life."
Oh my god.
Sam and Max is a very, very funny show. And even the episodes that weren't written by Steve Purcell, every single episode is very funny. Like, the writers on the show just got the characters down perfectly. That one is another one written by Steve Purcell, though. One of my favorite episodes is They Came From Down There, where Max Salmon, one of Sam and Max's many nemesis.
Nemesi?
So Max Salmon is a fish in a bowl in a robot bodysuit. I don't know his backstory. I don't know if he was originally a person.
Max Salmon? I think he just shows up in the comic and they're just like, "Oh no, it's him." Like, you're supposed to know it's him.
Yeah. That's how it is in the show too, but Max asks, "What happened to him to get that way, Sam?" And Sam says, "Some kind of boating mishap, I'm guessing." They just never tell you what happened. But I think he actually had a cameo in the Telltale games too.
Weird.
I think at the beginning of season 3 they have like a montage of like newsprints, and it has like a news article on like Sam and Max stop Max Salmon or something.
Oh yeah, I looked at my Steam library. Apparently season 3 is the one that I have.
Season 3 is a very, very good one.
Do I need to know anything about the other games to play that?
A little. Not really.
Okay.
You don't really need to, but I feel like it would help if you did.
I see.
I would recommend, like, those games go on sale pretty often. Like, anytime there's a Steam sale, those are usually part of it, and they're discounted pretty heavily, so...
Yeah.
I would highly recommend getting Seasons 1 and 2.
Alright, then.
I mean, I would say Season 3 is the best one of them, but, you know, the other two are good, too, especially Season 2. Season 1... Well, we'll get to it. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. So, let's see. What else to say about the Sam & Max cartoon?
I always thought it was weird that they had Max Salmon and then Bob the Killer Goldfish.
Yeah, they're pretty similar.
Character. But I think Max Salmon beats him at like 87.
Yeah. I will give Earthworm Jim one thing, though. They used Bob a lot more than Sam and Max.
Yeah.
Like, did Max Salmon ever show up in... I know he showed up in the comics, but did he show up often? Like, was he reoccurring?
No, I think he was just a one-time thing.
It's been so long, I really need to go back and read those. That's the thing about Sam and Max. I feel like no matter what you look at with them, every single part of their franchise is just great.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a bad Sam and Max.
The funny thing, I'm not sure if it's true or not. I'm pretty sure it is, but I heard that Steve Purcell really did not like that geek character. And if you look on, I think it's the artwork for the DVD or something, there's a picture of them in her lab, and there's a coffin with her name on it, or something like that. Where it's like she's dead.
Oh,
I think
well.
he like killed her off in one of his drawings.
No big. The geek was voiced by, going off this connection with Sam being voiced by King Koopa, the geek was voiced by Princess Peach.
Alright, then.
Or Princess Toadstool, as they call her.
Toadstool.
It's Princess Peach Toadstool.
The other way around, actually. Princess Toadstool Peach.
Jeez, Kyle, have you never played Mario 64?
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Peach was their nickname. Weird.
Well, I guess nowadays it doesn't really even matter. Princess Toadstool doesn't even come up.
Peach Toadstool.
Oh, man, when are we gonna get Sam and Max in Smash Brothers?
That would be
Keep
fun.
dreaming, man.
And the only way you can fight as them is you have to point and click with a Wii remote.
You have to play with the Wii remote.
That's the only way to make Sam walk, and he walks really slow. Because I can't pick that up.
You know, I give him props for doing that.
I would too. Just like, even if they were like the worst characters in the game, at least they hit the big time.
There you go.
The Sam and Max cartoon had some ballsy jokes too. Like, they didn't cater strict. Like, it was less adult than the comics were, and the game, but like, the game and the comics were never like, you know, hardcore M-rated things, but they were pretty strictly T-rated. You know, they would say words like damn and ass.
Right.
But the show was meant for kids, but, you know, they still kept that very wordy dialogue.
See, I thought it was cool because around this time they had Big Guy and Rusty, and that was a comic, more adult. That was aimed at kids, another cartoon that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I don't know. Like, Men in Black was a comic series, and then I had a movie, then I had a cartoon.
I like that
for
cartoon.
small children.
Yeah, it's just weird that they have all these, like, cartoons that were kind of based on a comic. Like, indie comics back then.
Well, I mean, indie comics really got big in the 90s, so...
And then we got the Max.
Yeah.
Like the Max, and then, what were the other ones? Cyber 6? Like, all these...
Yeah, all
awesome
kinds of stuff.
indie stuff came out.
Yeah, it was kind of the period where comics got turned into TV shows.
And
like
not just big
Garfield
Marvel
and
and DC ones.
And who could forget the pilot for the Kathy series?
Oh my god.
I think that was actually just like a one-time special, but we were denied a whole Kathy TV series. Can you imagine?
Oh my god.
I feel robbed.
I remember when I was a little kid, I specifically remember a day where Because I think they were doing this weird thing where they were premiering a Sam and Max episode on Valentine's Day, because it was like a special Valentine's episode. So it was like the one time it wasn't airing on Saturday morning. I think, I could be remembering wrong. But I specifically remember like getting out of school and like I remember running home because I didn't want to miss Sam and Max that was coming on. And like, I knew exactly the time it was coming on. I knew what time I had to be home by, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. I don't want to miss Sam and Max. I gotta run. And it was a good episode.
Can't miss TV, man.
Exactly. But yeah, the DVD for the show has a bunch of like behind the scenes stuff talking about it. Like there's a bunch of, they have the series Bible on there. I think they have some other behind the scenes featurettes, but yeah, I give the cartoon, even though they had to make it a little cleaner than the comics, it was still very, very funny.
And I can't find any animation cells on it, and it bothers the hell out of me.
I would love to own an animation cell for it.
So we just need to get a hold of Steve Purcell, and maybe he's got some.
That's true.
Do you remember how disappointed everybody was when you got like the Banjo-Kazooie trailer? It was like, oh, hey guys, check this out. And then we got Nuts and Bolts. So the same thing happened with this, where they showed an awesome trailer for this awesome game. And it was Sam & Max Freelance Police.
Ooh.
And then it got canceled, and I felt like shit.
Yeah, LucasArts was making a sequel to Sam & Max in the early 2000s. It was all in 3D and everything. I was actually watching the trailer for it the other day. Do you guys remember that show on G4, Cinematheque?
Yes.
I was streaming an episode on canceled games, and they had Sam & Max Freelance Police on there. Apparently it was going to be like the Telltale games ended up being where it was episodic.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I think they said it was going to be like 6 different episodes. So this would have been like one of the first episodic point-and-click games. I think. I could be wrong on that and just talking out my ass, but...
I just remember seeing it and was like, holy shit, I remember these guys. This looks amazing. And then just nothing came out from it.
I remember the day when I woke up and it was straight up canceled. I specifically remember being in like high school, I think, and I remember being in the library on the computers and they had a website for it saying like Sam & Max Freelance Police canceled. And I was like, what? Oh, that was like the first time I remember being upset at a game being canceled.
Yeah.
That is upsetting.
Like they had a whole website for it, a whole campaign, asking, like that was the crazy thing. I think the rumor was it was like almost completely finished too. I think they said it was like 90% done when it was canceled.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. Even worse.
Yeah, it's sad. The models for them look pretty good. And like the Telltale games look good too, but something about this early footage of the original Freelance Police, like the lighting for it looks neat. Something about the art style for it just looks really cool.
And wasn't the reason something stupid too? Like they just stopped that company or something like that?
It was just Sam and Matt, or it was just Adventure Games not doing well anymore.
Oh, I thought it was like LucasArts stopped being LucasArts and it became something else.
I want to say the reason was they just shut it down since there was no like they just didn't see the reason to make it when they weren't very popular. Because, like, Grim Fandango came out a few years earlier, and despite being, like, a huge critical hit, like, everyone loved that game. It was like a bomb, I think, when it sold. So I want to say the reason was simply just, they didn't think it would sell well, so they canceled it. Which is lame, especially since nowadays, like... After seeing what Telltale did with it, don't you think LucasArts could have just done that? Just made it like a downloadable game? They wouldn't even have to print any copies of it or anything if it was already almost done?
Yeah. The same as Star Fox 2.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe it's for the best. I think, wasn't the story that LucasArts did own the rights to Sam & Max at the time, and Steve Purcell only got them back when LucasArts forfeited the rights since they canceled the game? I don't know the whole story, but I think I remember
so. I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm looking at an interview with Steve Purcell on the cancellation. He says, LucasArts' sudden decision to stop production is mystifying. Sam & Max was on schedule and coming together beautifully. And I guess we'll never know what should have been. There's some screenshots lingering around, and there's that trailer, but who knows what the actual story would have been.
The trailer was awesome. Like, what was that cat? What was his deal?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Like, look at this screenshot. Not you guys listening, but these two people I'm talking to. Like, look at the lighting and the colors in this screenshot. Like, the Telltale games are good, but that just looks...
That's pretty slick.
Looks good for being early 2000s.
I think the character models kind of looked better in Telltale's a little bit. They were, like, cleaner and smoother, but the environment, I think, looked a little better in LucasArts. But I guess we'll never know now. And funny thing is, that's not even the only canceled Sam & Max game.
Is that right?
Yeah. Is this one news to you? Yes,
it is.
There was another game being made. I can't find the info for it, but they were making a game for the Xbox. And I don't remember what it was called, but I specifically remember seeing it in like a game magazine. They had a screenshot for it, and I remember seeing an article for it. I remember he did concept art for like he did concept art for like a spaceship that they were gonna ride in, where like actually I don't know if this was for the Xbox One, but it might have been for Freelance Police. I remember him saying there was like a space, like they turned their DeSoto into a spaceship or something, and every single button on your keyboard had a function on their ship.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah, like, you know, they'd be worthless functions. Like,
oh shit! I think I found it. It's called Sam & Max Plunge Through Space, the game.
Yeah, that's it.
It says it was announced in September 2001. The game story was based on the same name that he had written in years earlier. They had to recover the Statue of Liberty from another galaxy after it was stolen.
That's it. I remember this now. Yeah, there's the concept art of the futuristic DeSoto.
That's just silly.
There was an evil king on a planet inhabited by Max lookalikes. Yeah, this is before Telltale. They have the mole guy.
Yeah, isn't that weird? There's two canceled Sam & Max games.
I don't know why this isn't on the wiki, though. That's so weird.
Oh, it's on the wiki. I'm looking at it on the... Well, not like Wikipedia, but on the Sam & Max wiki.
Oh, I'm on Giant Bomb. Yeah, that's it right there. Some article on a Giant Bomb.
By Infinite Machine. They sound familiar. What did they make? Unless I'm just completely confusing them with someone else.
I think you're confusing them.
New Legends.
Says they made... Yeah. Never heard of that.
Yeah, me neither. But anyway, so Sam & Max had two games that got canceled. Very sad. People were thinking, oh, we'll never see Sam & Max again now. But then, lo and behold, Telltale Games comes along and snatches up the Sam & Max license.
I was very
they're pretty much they've cornered the market on point-and-click adventure games these days.
Yeah, but then they ruined it.
So, Sam & Max wasn't their first game, but I think it was their first, like, big one. It was when people started really noticing Telltale. Because before that, they started with, like, card games. They did, like, Telltale Texas Hold'em. They did
Mm-hmm.
they did a couple Bone games too, based on that comic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay, so yes,
And-
Sam and Max was their 5th project, but yeah,
I don't-
think
I don't
it
know-
was... Oh, go ahead.
I said I don't know if it was before or after, but I know I played their Back to the Future one.
Oh, their Back to the Future one was way after this.
Okay.
That was after even season 3, so that was after Sam and Max's last game.
All right
Get
then.
with the program.
I don't know the chronology of this shit.
I really hope Telltale makes another Sam and Max someday. I feel like even if they stuck with their like new method of gameplay, I feel like they could like kind of parody themselves with Sam and Max, making fun of like making decisions and having them be useless.
Mm-hmm.
But
I only played the first season.
you only
I
played
actually
the
really
first
liked it.
season?
Yeah, I only played the first season, but I watched the playthrough on season 2 and 3, so I know the
okay.
whole story on it.
Okay, I guess that's good enough.
They were like 3 hours long. They were pretty much like watching a fucking movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even all of them. That's not even all the cutscenes, because each episode can go on for like 2 hours.
Oh man.
Each season came out. They put out like special edition DVD collections of them, where you can put the disc in your computer and it'll be the whole season. Like you can just install the whole game that way. But you could also put it in a DVD player and watch like cutscenes from each episode, commentary
That's awesome.
commentary for each episode, behind the scenes stuff. So it actually was like an actual DVD for the season.
I know they had like special editions, and they would give out like memorabilia of like the stuff in the game.
Yeah, I have the season 2 one. I think I still do.
It was just dumb stuff like a napkin. It was like just it was something that was used in the game.
Yeah, season 2 came with like a little mini CD that had the Friendly Demon song on it. But so season 1 came out in 2006. It was Sam and Max's big comeback. I'll be honest, I don't think it's amazing. Like, I would say season 1 is probably the weakest Sam and Max has been, but
Yeah.
it's still good. But you could tell they were kind of, they were new to the characters, trying to get a feel for them. And they did eventually. I feel like seasons 2 and 3 are way better. So they eventually got really good with them. But season 1 is still good.
Yeah, season 1's somewhat bland, but it's still very good.
Yeah,
in the
it
sense
still
of
has
how
its
it goes.
it still has its funny jokes. It's still fun to play. But like Sam's new voice actor is kind of off. Max went through 2 voice actors in season 1.
Weird.
Yeah, he had a different
I did like-
voice in the first episode.
I did like that every episode that you play inside their closet was like a little trophy.
Yeah,
Something that was
Oh.
one of my favorite things.
same. I need to replay. It's been a while since I've played the Telltale ones, but I remember them being good.
And there's a kind of like a bad guy, and they capture him, they tie him up, and he's in the closet. And
Yeah.
they keep breaking him up in the game. They're like, did you remember to feed him today? Stuff like that.
So the way the Sam and Max seasons work is, they're each like, well, season 1 is 6 episodes. So, and they're all episodic. Each episode is kind of its own standalone story, but with a kind of story flowing through each one. So there's a story arc. The first season is about
Hugh Bliss.
Hugh Bliss. That's his name. That's right. With his, he was albino, right? He's
Yeah.
kinda-
He could change colors, but he was an albino.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, season 1 was good. Season 2, I'd say, is a lot better, and then season 3 is even better than that. Season 2,
There's like a complete tonal switch from season 2 to 3. It looks different, it sounds different, It is so wild.
I feel like it still keeps the spirit of it, while also kind of pushing it a little. Like, I feel like Season 3 is kind of the most quote-unquote serious of Sam and Max stories gotten, but not to the point that it breaks the humor of the series.
Yeah, it feels like it got its footing right there, and it would have been great if they kept going, but they didn't.
Yeah, hopefully someday. I mean, they put out Poker Night 1 and 2. 2 wasn't even that long ago. Well, I guess now it is. That was for the 25th anniversary of Sam and Max, so yeah, I guess like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And see, that's such a weird thing, because they had Brock Sampson
Yeah.
in one of those games, and they never did a Venture Brothers game.
Yeah.
Well, I think they had, like, Ash from the Evil Dead was in another one. I don't think they ever did one for that.
Yeah, he was in that one too. Poker Night 1 had Max, Strong Bad, the Heavy from Team Fortress 2, and Tycho from Penny Arcade for some reason.
Yeah.
I like 3 of those. I'm not a huge Penny Arcade guy, but he was fine. He wasn't like offensively bad, but
Yeah.
I feel like I love the Poker Night games. It's just fun seeing all these different characters interact together.
Mm-hmm.
Strong Bad.
Yeah,
Those were
Strong Bad
fun
and
games
Max.
too.
Yeah, they're fun to just put on and play for a little bit, listen to the characters. Season 2 had Brock, Sam, Claptrap from Borderlands, Ash from Evil Dead, and who else?
Didn't GLaDOS show up from time to time?
GLaDOS, that's it. She wasn't a participant, like she wasn't one of the players, but she would like deal out the cards and stuff and just offer commentary.
Right.
Yeah, I like those games, and that game came out for Sam and Max's 25th anniversary, so you got like special 25th anniversary playing cards. If you played in, like, you could change the location of where they were playing, and so you could actually play in Sam and Max's office.
Oh, nice.
And like Sam would be wearing like a tuxedo, and it would be a big celebration.
There you go.
One of my favorite things in that was they were making fun of Brock Sampson's voice.
Oh yeah, because
like...
they say he sounds like Sal from season 3.
Yeah.
So
like,
Sal
don't
was
know
a
what
giant.
You're talking about.
Sal was a giant cockroach that they met in season 3, who was obviously meant to sound like.
It seems like they wanted to get Patrick Warburton to do the voice, but they just couldn't afford him or something. So
from what I understand, Telltale's games aren't like super high budget games.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could tell they wanted Patrick Warburton, but couldn't, so they just had him sound like Patrick Warburton. So once
like,
they
even
actually
just the way he talks, just
Yeah,
the way
he
he says stuff,
yeah, he sounds
it was
like
totally
this.
him.
But so when they actually had Patrick Warburton, they're like, "Hey, you kind of sound like Sal." I totally forgot Telltale did a Wallace and Gromit game.
Oh shit, that's right.
Only 4 episodes.
Cheese Gromit.
Yeah, it looks like it was pretty well received. Like every episode is like mid-70s, so. But that's for another day. Sam and Max, I think, was Telltale's big breakout series, which is why it's a little lame that they don't do them anymore.
I don't know if it's spoiler territory, but how did you feel about the ending?
I liked it. I liked that. I feel like it was a very organic way of actually having like a dramatic moment in Sam and Max without it feeling off. Like it felt like it worked fine. Yeah,
it was so weird to me, but it worked out. I was like, okay,
yeah,
I'll deal with it.
I mean, it was weird to see. Like I said, season 3 is when it probably the most serious Sam and Max has ever actually gotten. Like, usually the stories are kind of bullshit and the characters just kind of goof around. In a good way. But they never tackle, like, you know, serious stories with emotional moments. And this was their first time doing it.
It did get pretty heavy.
You know what's funny is Season 3 of Sam & Max was Telltale kind of dipping their toes into players choosing things.
I did like that.
There
made
was
it very noir.
Yeah, there was only one moment in the very last episode of Season 3 where, depending on the choice you make, it changes the ending.
Is that right?
I don't think it's like a massive change. It's just like the dialogue for it has changed. So yeah, that's kind of where they first did their, hey, depending on what you choose, the story.
How about you type it so we don't spoil it? Because I don't know.
I'll link it after this because I don't even remember it, and I don't want to look like a fool.
I'm such a fool.
But yeah, I would say Telltale's Sam & Max are all very, well, not all of them are very good, but they're all at least good.
So, have you heard what the future holds for them?
Are you talking about the action figures?
Yeah.
I sure do.
Boss Fight is going to be doing... That's what they're called, right? Boss Fight toys?
I think so.
They're doing action figures on them. They're the people that do Bucky O'Hara, which was also... Or Bucky O'Hare. That was something I grew up with, too.
The Bucky O'Hare figures look really good.
Yeah. I really want to get this figure. It's the special Easter edition one. And he is brown, white, and pink. Like a chocolate bunny. It's amazing.
I love
But, the action figures look incredible from what they've shown of it.
For Sam & Max?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't shown the actual figures, just just like digital mock-ups so far, right?
Yeah.
But those do look good. And they've shown the accessories. They have like Sam's tie and hat and a gun and a popsicle and the paper bag Max.
Yeah. It looked like there was a rat to go on top of Sam's hat.
Yeah. I want these. I just really hope they don't cost a whole lot. Do the Bucky O'Hare figures cost a lot?
No, they're like... I was just looking at them right now. They're like $30 maybe. That's not too bad.
That's not too bad, but I'm going to want all of these Sam & Max things. That's going to cost me.
Here. Yeah, like $34.99.
I wonder I wonder to what extent the figures will be. Like, are they just Sam & Max themselves, or will they have characters from the games, or what?
I would love to have a Bosco figure. Bosco
I would love to have a Lauren
favorite.
Friend for Life figure. And you could press a button and it'll do his theme.
That'd be great.
Who was your favorite character in the games?
That's a good question. It's kind of hard to outdo Sam and Max themselves, but Bosco's great. Sybil's great. Sybil's a good waifu.
That is true.
Grandpa Stinky.
Yeah. I don't think Bosco had a moment where he didn't make me laugh.
Oh, Bosco's great. And his design school, he'd be great for a figure.
Yeah.
What's funny is they kind of alluded to Bosco in Sam & Max Hit the Road. Like, his store is seen, and they talk about Bosco, I think, but you don't actually see Bosco himself. So the Telltale games was the first time they actually showed him.
And there was his mom.
Yeah.
She looked younger than him.
Which is weird. I wonder if Telltale owns the rights to all the characters they made for those games, or if Steve Purcell just owns anything made for Sam & Max.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, like, I don't know, could anyone who works on Sam & Max next use those characters? Because I think Telltale owns the characters they made for Monkey Island, because Reginald Vell Johnson was in Poker Night 2. But it's weird, since in Poker Night 1 they just refer to him as the host, because maybe the copyright was a little nebulous at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Since that was still when LucasArts owned Monkey Island. But then once Disney bought LucasArts and they owned the Monkey Island series, maybe they worked out a deal or something, and so they were able to actually call him by name in Poker Night 2.
Yeah, maybe.
Weren't you saying that the creator is like, yeah, this game is non-canon.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I mean, this is going off on a tangent from Sam and Max, but the creator of Monkey Island, Ron Gilbert, said if he ever got the license back, he would make anything that happened after his games like not canon and pick up from after 2. Which, on one hand, you know, it's totally within his rights. It is his series and his creation. But on the other hand, I like what came out after 2. I like Monkey Island 3, and I like the Telltale one. I don't want to see all that just completely erased.
Sounds like the Leisure Suit Larry guy, too.
Yeah, so it's this weird situation where on one hand, I get it, like he should be able to do that, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. I don't know what company made it, but someone made these stuffed animal Max dolls too.
That is... Fuck. It's hashtag.
I kind of
hashtag toys or something like that.
I kind of want to get one.
See, I would love to get one, but he's pure white, and it would get dirty so quick. Just having him on display. So that makes me not want to get him.
But you could say that would suit Max better.
It looks like they're on sale right now.
Oh, really? How much?
$29.99.
Oh, well, that's
instead of $34.99.
Oh, I thought $29.99 was just its normal price, but see, now I don't know if I should get that or if I should wait and get the action
Those are super
figures.
cool.
Yeah, these ones I just linked in the chat. Sorry, you guys can't see this, people listening, but so I think these
3D?
are fan made.
3D printed models.
I think so. Here's a question: What was your favorite part of the Telltale games? So the Telltale Sam and Max games are divided out. They're episodic games, so you know they release like one episode every month or so. I don't know if it was every month or every other month, but so they would release like one part at a time until the whole season was out. So any particular highlights you would say you enjoyed?
I liked the Teddy Bear Mafia.
They're a classic one,
part.
Just you and me and Teddy Bear.
Yeah, I liked that whole thing.
How do you feel about the soda poppers?
I hated them, and it was great to see them die.
What? You and everyone else.
And then I like how they were like, they made a paradox or something in that season, and then it saved them at the end.
Yeah. And now they're stuck in hell.
Yeah. I like that they made the devil not so bad. He's just kind of a guy that did his job.
He was voiced by, I forget his name, but he's voiced by the guy who voices Mojo Jojo, I think.
Oh, shit.
He does a lot of voices in the Telltale 7 Max games. Like, he voices Skunk Ape.
Oh, yeah. I liked him, too.
Yeah, he was good. I really like the Santa Claus episode.
Yeah.
The Sam and Max Holiday Special. Lots of great ones. Like I said, Season 1 is not quite as strong, but overall it's very good.
It's mostly making fun of, like, reality TV shows and kind of that whole thing.
Virtual reality.
That, too. There was that whole one where they had to go to the TV studio. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's like Urban Cowboys or something.
Midtown Cowboys. They're probably hiding a cow.
Yeah.
I really like Bluster Blaster, the arcade machine.
Oh, yeah.
That screams like this! Except digital.
There was a character in the Leisure Suit Larry game for PS2 or PC, Magnum Cum Laude, and it was a video game that screamed like that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He gets in an argument with it.
You know, that game is... I hear it's not good, but when I was watching the Game Grumps play it, and they made it look fun.
Yeah, that's how we watched it.
So this is the thing. That game is a bunch of shitty mini games.
Yeah.
It really is.
Mini game parts are awful. But the dialogue for that, the whole little conversations, they are funny as fuck.
Yeah, it seemed like legit funny.
And I think it's written by the guy who does like all those stupid Seth Rogen movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It was a Judd Apatow or something.
Something like that. I don't know. I don't watch Seth Rogen movies.
Seth Rogen's gross.
Whoa.
I have nothing against Seth Rogen.
If you're listening to this, Seth Rogen,
please
come over to my place. Let's fight.
Please be a guest on our podcast.
I'm down.
We can talk about Sausage Party.
Yeah.
And how they didn't pay their animators.
Yeah, what do you have to say about that one? But, I guess that's all there is to really say about Sam & Max. It's kind of had its, I don't want to say it's had its ups and downs, because it never really had its downs. More like down periods where they just weren't used. Because that's the thing, Sam & Max are always good, but they pop up so sporadically.
And that was kind of the cool thing, too, was during the Telltale games, he was doing a webcomic as well.
Yeah, didn't it win an Eisner Award?
I think so.
Which is so weird to say Sam & Max is an award-winning comic.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll say it. I'll say it because it deserves it.
Say what?
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I got nothing more to say about Sam & Max. What about you guys?
It was a good show.
It was a good show. It was a good everything, really. It's weird to think how Sam & Max kinda... It scours all of entertainment in a way. All we need now is, like, a Sam & Max musical album.
I could do with a movie.
I'd love a Sam & Max movie.
Let's get Pixar on it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Only bad thing is, Disney would probably own the rights to it afterwards.
Probably.
Make it kid-friendly.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
they did it once.
Whoa. That guy that does Mojo's voice did Willy Wonka Cheeks?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
And now you know,
I
and
don't
now
even know
so
who this character is.
Willy Wonka Cheeks was in Crash Twinsanity, Crash Tag Team Racing. He's a disgusting monster.
Huh.
Anyways, I think that's it
Yeah.
for Sam & Max.
Yeah. Well,
I hope they come back someday.
yes. Well, thank you for the enlightening history. I feel I've learned some things.
Thanks for talking, JD.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I do the bulk of the talking on most episodes.
Yeah, just so the listeners know, it's currently very late for us. So on top of JD not knowing anything about Sam & Max, it's almost 2:30 for him. So
I'm a sleepy boy right now.
that's 2 strikes against him.
Oh, damn.
Boo-hoo, I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
It's true. He is.
It is true. Well, thank you guys for talking about Sam & Max. I'm glad we finally got around to this one.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah,
It's about
Jesus.
time.
It's only been 3 years.
Jeez.
So I hope everyone else listening to the podcast enjoyed Sam & Max time.
I could talk about Sam & Max for hours and hours, but I won't.
Oh, okay. So yeah, thanks for listening this week, and make sure you come back next week where we talk about that whole Adventure Time thing that happened recently.
What's Adventure Time?
That's an excellent question, and one that I hope to sort out soon.
I've never heard of it.
Alright guys, thanks for listening. We'll catch y'all next week.
Bye, everybody. Catch you on the flip side.
Well, this has grown tiresome. Until next time, kids.
Goodbye!
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can catch a new episode every week. Also be sure to follow us on our Facebook and Twitter so you can keep up with the show. Links are in the description. We'll see you next week.